Hello and welcome to this walkthrough of the Library and IT Services web pages. Today we're going to focus on all of the digital services that you can access through the Library and IT web pages. So we're just on the home page at the moment, and to get to the digital library section, if we just scroll down slightly, you'll get to a section called Key Services, and then in the central box it says Library Services, and the first heading there is the Digital Library. So within the digital library, this gives you access to all of our online digital resources. So if you're studying remotely, this is probably the best place for you to come. You'll be able to access everything such as e-journals, databases, e-books, newspapers, multimedia, and other things besides those as well, all available to you through a click of your button on your mouse. So we've got some sort of quick icons here that you can just select to get to key sections of different types of digital information. But if I carry on just scrolling down this page a little bit further, we've highlighted some of the key sort of electronic resources by their sort of format for sort of easy access. So within here, for example, I'll just show you a couple to get us started. So we have access to newspapers. So if I select newspapers, this will take you to our online newspapers guide, and it gives you information about what we have access to and how to access them. So for example, it's got information in there about archive collections. So if you're looking for historical information, it has a list of different resources that you can use to find that information out. If you're looking for current information, we have access to all of the key sort of newspapers, and they are global as well as regional and country based. So the best resource to use for those is Nexus, and that's an online database where you can carry out searches across a range of different newspaper titles, or you can select a specific newspaper title. Through there you can also select specific ones to browse, such as the Times Higher Education or the Guardian and things like that. So within this page here, this guide, it will give you access to all of those types of different newspapers that you might want to have a look at. Some other sorts of information that you might be interested in. So for example, if you're studying law, we have a little section here for legal material, and if I select the legal material icon, that will then take me into, again, a guide on what's available within the electronic law library. So this guide will talk you through all of the key resources. So it will show you the key databases that we've got if you're studying UK law, or if you're interested in law and you want to find out what's available, you can scroll down and you can see those three key ones that are listed there. It also gives information if you're looking for law outside of UK jurisdiction, so international or global, for example, and again it lists different databases where you can access that information from as well. So a really useful little guide that you could go in and have a look at. It does also list some specialist subject legal databases as well, which again are all listed and are all accessible for you to log into. So as you can see, there are some other tabs of information on here on different types of information that you might be looking for, such as special collections and archives, if you're looking for open access material, or things like theses and dissertations. So feel free to go and have a look and see what might be of use to you within there. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm now going to go into our main gateway for accessing the majority of our digital resources, and that's Library Search Digital. So Library Search Digital is like our online gateway to information. So within here you can access things like electronic books, e-journals and articles that are published within those e-journals. You may find some multimedia content in here, things like conference proceedings. There'll be some magazine content, and there'll also be things like some newspaper content within it as well. So the best thing to do is to use the search box at the top here, and we suggest that you search in a combination of different ways. So if you have the particular thing that you're looking for, it's always best just to do a quick search using, if there's an author, use their surname and then a couple of keywords from the title, whatever that might be. If you don't have something specific in mind, it works just as well, so you can search on a topic area or a subject that you're looking for, and again that will work equally well. So I'm just going to do a quick demonstration now to look for a book. So I'm just going to put in the author's surname and then a few key words from the title. Okay, and then we're just going to have a little scroll through and have a look at the resources that we found here. Now I can see straight away that I've just entered an additional word that I didn't need to enter, so it hasn't found what I'm looking for. So let's try this again. So I'm going to again put the author surname and study skills as those keywords, and let's try that search a second time. Okay, so this looks more like what I was hoping to find. So I can see here the Ultimate Study Skills Handbook, which is what I was looking for, and I can see that it's available as an electronic book. In terms of accessing it, I've got a link over on the side to link to the ebook, which I can just select, and that should then log me into that electronic book. Okay, and then I've got access here to either read it online or download it. We usually recommend, wherever possible, if you've got a secure internet access, just read it online, because it will just make that it doesn't go out of circulation so that other people could use it at the same time. But you can download the book if you need to. It doesn't download the book forever, it just downloads it probably for a day or two, and then the link will expire, but you can go back in and download it again if you need to look at it again afterwards. Okay, so that's just a quick simple search for a book there. Now if, for example, I didn't have a particular book in mind, I just wanted to do a quick subject search, I can do a search for that. So let's have a look for something like freedom of expression. So because this is a phrase, I'm going to put it into quotation marks, which means that it will search for it with the words next to each other rather than searching for those words individually. So let's put freedom of expression, and we'll put it in quotation marks, and we will run the search again. Okay, now just to explain a little bit about what's happening on the interface generally. So in the centre there you can see the results coming back, and they're the results that it's found based on those keywords that I've used. The filters on the left hand side under library resources relate to anything where it's found an ebook or something of that sort of nature. So there are filters that you can apply. So if you're just looking for ebooks, you can click on the ebooks link, or there's some video recordings in there as well. If you're looking for more multimedia, you can click on that, and that will show you those particular ones. The ones on the right hand side are kind of everything else. So they're all of our sort of subscription databases. So they are things like journal databases, they might be things like conference proceedings, they might be newspaper articles, book reviews, that type of thing. So really you just need to make a decision based on what you're looking for. So if you know you're looking at this stage of a book, you can click on the ebooks link, and then again that will show you those books with the links through to the ebooks as we looked at the other one. If you're more interested in looking at some journal article and some current thinking around that, then you can select one of the filters on the right hand side. So for example, if I go down and I say, well, I just want to have a look at academic journals, I can select academic journals, and then that will take away the filters on the left hand side and just show me all of those journals. I then have the access. If there's any that I'm interested in having a look at, I can click on the full text link there and then click on the access content, and that will take me into that particular resource where I'm free to print it off, read it online, save it somewhere if I want to refer back to it or use it as part of my assignment. Okay, so that's just a quick run through of using Library Search Digital. There are a couple of other tools that are accessible from the homepage of Library Search, which I'm just going to quickly walk you through now as well. So just right at the very beginning of the walkthrough, I kind of mentioned that Library Search Digital is our kind of main gateway for finding most of the resources. Now, it doesn't find everything, it doesn't have everything available in there, and also because it's quite a cross-disciplinary search in terms of it has lots of different subjects in it, what you do find sometimes is you will get a lot of results coming back when you run a search. So sometimes you might want to go into one of the more subject-specific resources that you're studying. It might make it a little bit more manageable for you to find those resources straight away. So the librarians have designed subject library resource guides, so there is a librarian that's attached to each of the subjects that you're studying, and from this list you can see here a list of all of our names and then the related guides. So if you're interested in having a look at those, they kind of give you a bit more information about, you know, what's sort of the key subject areas that you should be having a look at, what are the resources, how to use them, how to get in contact with us if you need any help with sort of carrying out searches or knowing which are the right resources to use. So I'm just going to jump into one that I look after, which is the Social Policy, Sociology and Social Research one. So if I just click into here, so within here, you know, you've got the purpose of the guide, you've got some little quick videos to watch on different types of information. You can book an appointment with me if you need to from a link there, and right at the top I've got a number of different tabs on sort of various different areas under that kind of broader SSPSSR, and some information sort of about reference management and inclusive resources and things like that. So you can bookmark these sites and come back to them whenever you need them, and they will say, okay, so if you are studying sociology, for example, what are the things I should be having a look at, and it will tell you, well, these are the key ones, these are the top ones to have a look at. So it just gives you a bit more direction when you're thinking about which ones to search. Okay, so the other things I was going to point out as well on Library Search Digital is the Digital Resources Directory. So this is a list of absolutely everything we subscribe to, and we do have a lot of resources, so it can feel a little bit overwhelming sometimes, but hopefully the Digital Resources Directory will help you to sort of filter that down a little bit further. So again, you can go in here and you can choose a subject that you're interested in. So say for example you're looking at biosciences, so I can choose biosciences, and that will give me a list then of all the subjects that are relevant to biosciences. Within that list, some will be very bioscience specific, and some of them will be more kind of interdisciplinary. So it's always worth using this list in conjunction with the subject guide, because the subject guide will actually tell you these are the top ones to use, whereas this will be a more comprehensive list of everything. You can also filter it by the type of resource as well. So if you were looking for things like multimedia, or if you were looking for grey literature, things like that, you can select it from the tab, and then if I scroll down, it will now show me all of the ones that are relevant within that area that I can go in and have a look. If I was interested in accessing any of these, so for example, maybe I wanted to have a look at the Filmmakers Library online, I can just click on the link and then access this resource. And that will take me into the resource where I can sort of search and browse the site for the subjects that I'm interested in, or select something to play. So, you know, all sort of very accessible and ready for you to use whenever you're ready, and give you some different sort of contextual information to your subject. We also have access to browse journals by your subject using our tool Browsing that we have access to. So you can create your own login with Browsing, which I would recommend you do. It's completely free to do that. Once you've done that, you can then bookmark different articles and journals that you want to come back to, so that they're always there when you log in. So if there are particular things that you find when you're searching, rather than having to save them or download them somewhere else, you can just save them in the site and then come back to it when you're ready. So there are a number of ways you can browse this tool. You can browse it by the particular subject. So if I was interested, let's say, in history, I can click on history, and then that will give me a big sort of visual list of all of the titles that are accessible and relevant for history. But I can also just search on my own terms as well if I want to. So if I just change the subject area and say I want to do some searches, let's say on criminology, I can put criminology in, and then it will look for some matches based on the terms that I've used. And then I can go into any of these that I'm interested in, let's say criminology and criminal justice. That will take me into that particular journal in the current sort of volume and issue, and I can scroll through and have a look to see if I'm interested in it, read them online, download the PDFs, add them to my articles, anything like that, and then I can come back to it whenever I'm ready. So that's a really useful resource if you just want to browse specific subject areas for the journals, or a particular title that you might have been recommended to have a look at by one of your lecturers. Okay, and then the last thing I'm just going to quickly show you from this site as well is our leisure reads. So, as well as supporting your academic study, we also really value supporting you as a whole student. So we really promote leisure reading at Kent. We have a Love to Read collection available online via Libby. So you can go in here and you can browse to see all of the collections that we've got available. So as well as ebooks, we also have access to something called IndieFlix, which is brand new for this year. And again, you can scroll in and have a look at the sorts of films that you might want to watch online from within there. We've created and curated our own collections based on different sorts of headings of things that students have told us what they're interested in, but you can also go through and have a look. So we've got a whole range of titles on there. You can also suggest titles to us as well, so if they're titles or a particular genre, it doesn't have to be fiction, it can be non-fiction. Let us know and we'd be more than happy to sort of add those titles for you to be able to access for free online too. Okay, so that's the end of this quick walkthrough then on the digital library. Please do feel free to get in touch with us. Come and speak to us if you've got any questions about using resources or accessing resources. Don't forget you've got your subject library resource guides there that tell you who your librarian is, and we'll be very happy to help you if you have got any queries. Thanks for listening.